Male cop drags 30-year-old woman out of car by her hair in front of her house. What if one day, right outside your home, the unthinkable happens? Imagine being stopped in front of your house, a place where you feel the safest, only to face sheer humiliation. How would you react if someone sworn to protect you turned into the source of your worst nightmare? This is what happened to 30-year-old Amanda Carter, a white woman whose peaceful day turned into chaos when she was dragged out of her car by her hair in front of her home. Stay with us, because what happens next will leave you stunned. Can you picture the confusion and fear Amanda must have felt? It was a sunny afternoon in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Amanda had just picked up groceries and was pulling into her driveway. Suddenly, flashing lights appeared behind her, and a deep voice over the loudspeaker commanded her to step out of the vehicle. Confused, Amanda stayed in her car. After all, she had done nothing wrong. What could they possibly want with me? She wondered. What would you do if you were Amanda in this situation? As she rolled down her window to ask the officer what was going on, the tone of the interaction shifted drastically. Officer Desmond Blake, a black cop with a reputation for being overly aggressive, shouted, "Get out of the car now." His voice echoed through the neighborhood, drawing the attention of Amanda's neighbors. Despite her repeated attempts to ask for an explanation, Desmond grew visibly agitated. Should a police officer act this way without cause? Before Amanda could fully comprehend what was happening, Desmond opened her car door and yanked her out by her hair. Amanda screamed, pleading for him to stop, but Desmond dragged her across her driveway in full view of horrified neighbors. Her groceries spilled onto the ground as she struggled to regain her balance. Now here's a question for you. How would you react if this happened to someone you knew? Neighbors started gathering, some recording the incident on their phones. "What are you doing? She hasn't done anything wrong." One of them shouted. Amanda's elderly mother came running out of the house, tears streaming down her face. "This is my daughter. What is she being arrested for?" she cried. Desmond ignored her, cuffing Amanda roughly as she continued to plead for an explanation. Why didn't Officer Blake stop to think? Was this justice or abuse of power? It turned out that Desmond mistakenly believed Amanda's car matched the description of a vehicle involved in a hit and run earlier that day. But instead of verifying the facts or even allowing Amanda to speak, he jumped to conclusions and let his bias take over. Should officers be allowed to act without clear evidence? What safeguards should exist? Amanda's husband, who worked as a lawyer, arrived moments later. Seeing his wife handcuffed and in distress, he immediately confronted Desmond. "Officer, this is my wife. What are you charging her with?" he demanded. Desmond hesitated, but then blurted out something about Amanda's car being linked to a crime. How do you think Amanda's husband handled this moment? Would you stay calm or lose control? "This is absurd," Amanda's husband said firmly. "She's been home all day. Check your facts." He pulled out his phone and showed the officer surveillance footage from their home security cameras, proving that Amanda's car had never left the property that morning. What would you do if you had proof like this? Would you trust the system to correct itself? Desmond's face fell as he realized his mistake, but instead of apologizing, he doubled down. "We're just doing our job," he muttered defensively, as if that justified his actions. Amanda's neighbors continued recording, and her husband warned Desmond, "This isn't over. You'll be hearing from us." What do you think should happen to Officer Blake for his actions? The footage quickly went viral on social media, sparking outrage across the country. People were divided. Some argued that Desmond's behavior was unacceptable, while others tried to justify it, claiming he was under pressure. But the facts were clear. Amanda was innocent, and Desmond's actions were inexcusable. Should officers like Desmond face consequences, or should society just move on? The police department launched an internal investigation, and Desmond was placed on administrative leave. Amanda and her husband filed a formal complaint, demanding that he be held accountable. "No one should go through what I went through," Amanda said in a tearful press conference. Do you think public pressure helps in cases like these? Would Amanda have received justice without it? Weeks later, the investigation concluded, and Desmond was fired for misconduct. The police chief publicly apologized to Amanda and her family, acknowledging that the incident had damaged the community's trust. "We are committed to ensuring this never happens again," he said. But is an apology enough? What else should be done to prevent such incidents? Amanda's husband also filed a civil lawsuit against the department, seeking damages for the emotional trauma caused to his wife. The case gained widespread attention, and many began calling for reforms in police training to address issues of bias and excessive force. Do you think lawsuits are the only way to create change? What would you suggest? Desmond, meanwhile, struggled to find another job. In a rare interview, he admitted, "I let my emotions get the better of me. I thought I was doing my job, but I was wrong." Despite his admission, many questioned whether he truly understood the gravity of his actions or if he was simply trying to save face. Should forgiveness come easily in cases like these? Or should actions speak louder than words? Amanda, now an advocate for police accountability, uses her experience to push for change. "This isn't about one bad officer," she said during a rally. "It's about fixing a broken system." Her courage inspired others to share their stories, leading to a broader movement for justice. What do you think Amanda's story teaches us about standing up for what's right? In the end, Amanda's ordeal highlighted the importance of accountability and the need for systemic change. But the question remains, how many more innocent people must suffer before we see true reform? Now ask yourself, if you were in Amanda's shoes, what would you do? If you were Officer Desmond, how would you atone for your actions? What would you do in this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one.
If you've watched this far, comment which country you're watching from, and leave a 100 in the comment section, because you are type of person that likes to finish what they started. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to get notified whenever we drop new videos.